My name is Richard Downs. I'm a correspondent with RTE, which is the public TV and radio station in Ireland.
And what do you think of this event with Ron Paul supporters in such large numbers with such enthusiasm today?
Well, they've certainly got a buzz going for themselves, which is kind of unusual because he has such a kind of a pretty radical kind of policy in many regards. So I'm not really sure how representative it is, but I think he's got a buzz going, and he's certainly got a sense of momentum behind him, which is interesting.
Well, how is the message of liberty being received in Ireland? I know people are watching the campaign here, especially, and considering it, if only because Ron Paul is running for president, but you have similar issues with government and debt and overspending, so there's got to be some similar inclination to hear the message of liberty and say, maybe Ron Paul's onto something over there.
Well, I think that you certainly have a lot of supporters in Ireland because there's lots of problems and huge problems in the economy. But I know that he has supporters because every time I mention anything about the presidential election, I get 25 emails from people saying, "You didn't mention Ron Paul. Why didn't you mention him?" So
from Irish people.
From Irish people, and also from Irish Republicans in Ireland who have a vote, of course, and they're keen to make sure that the message is got out in Ireland. So yeah, he's quite popular, although I'd say the bulk of Irish people are a bit baffled by the message because we're in a kind of an economic crisis that makes what's happening in the United States look like a tea party.
So you would say that overseas there is the same enthusiasm for the message of Ron Paul among his supporters. So when we have reporters here that are just deluged with emails asking reporters to cover Ron Paul, you have the exact same phenomenon happening in Ireland.
That phenomenon is happening. There's huge enthusiasm for him, and it's the same group. It's a young, disillusioned group. It's a disillusioned group of people who are behind Ron Paul because they feel everything has been tried and none of it's worked, and it's time for something new. So that's clearly what where Ron Paul's support base is. I think more conservative people are a bit more. How would you put it? Worried about the direction, particularly about his foreign policy. We're talking about Americans now, but I think more conservative people don't quite know whether they can trust him and whether he's the real thing or not.
Well, I was actually just going to ask you, if Ron Paul supporters are young and disillusioned, what does that say about his opponents? That they're old and satisfied with the status quo?
I don't think anybody's satisfied with the status quo at the moment. No, I mean, look, politics and people are conservative. People don't like the idea of radical change, and he's offering a kind of a pretty radical, by American standards, dramatically radical program. Reforming of the Federal Reserve.
Ending the Federal Reserve.
Ending the Federal Reserve and the creation of a new monetary authority.
That's not true. He doesn't want to create a new monetary authority as much as open it up to competition and have free market money so that the market would be the money authority.
The market will decide, yeah, okay. A new type of monetary authority, a new type of system. That's what he's looking for. His foreign policy, I think a lot of people will be kind of surprised at the idea of, America pulling all of its resources out. So internationally, so I think that message is a tricky one for a lot of conservative voters. I think that'd be my feeling.
If it's young people who are really plugged into the internet who are supporting Ron Paul,
sure.
What do you say to the theory that the internet has replaced that old fear of the unknown with a more appropriate curiosity about what's possible?
Well, I think that's undoubtedly the case, that the internet's created all sorts of new things. Obama was the first to exploit it in the new modern political era in a dramatic way, and Paul, strangely enough, I'm sure he wouldn't like to say it, but he's following in the Obama tradition in that respect at least.
In that respect only.
Perhaps only, yeah.